wasp nest decoy. Let's make one. So we're gonna find your favorite yarn in either, and I would do acrylic. This is loops and threads, I think, and just gray. So I would do gray, or brown, tan are your colors. I would avoid red because the wasp can't see red, and black and yellow look like enemies, so you don't want to do that. So let's get started. So we have a hook. Our hook is a 5mm or an H, and yep, my dog's chewed on that part. We're going to need a needle for the end and a pair of scissors. Pretty basic. Don't need a lot of tools, obviously. So we're going to start off with a magic circle. If you're not sure how, you can also do the chain 4 technique if you don't like a magic circle. Either is fine. If you need to know how to do a magic circle, I do have a tutorial on my page. I like them. Once we get our magic circle started, we are going to do 6 half double crochets into the circle. So let's get that tight. We're going to do a slip stitch here to join the 2 sides, and we're going to do a yarn under. Okay, like so. So as you can see, we have 6. So row, that's row 1. So that's your beginning. So your next row, all right, row 2, we are going to do, and this is an increase row. So in every stitch, we are going to do 2 half doubles in every stitch. Okay. Okay, so this is row 1, this is row 2. Row 3, we are going to do another increase row. So we're going to start off with 2 half double crochets, 1 and 2. Then we're going to do just a single in the next one, and then 2 half doubles in the next one, 1 and 2. We're going to slip stitch into there. Whoops, we're going to yarn under, slip stitch. Now, is it going to curl? Yes, and that is totally fine. Just kind of go with that. So we have 1, 2, 3 rows. So now we're moving on to row 4. In row 4, it's another increase row. We're going to do our increase. We're going to do 2 more, this row plus 1 more row of increases before we start the body. So, okay. So we just did 2 half doubles. Now we're going to do 1 half double, go to the next stitch, half double, and then 2 half doubles in the next stitch, all the way around. Stitch that row together. Now we're going to do 1 more row of increases. This row is going to also be half doubles, but we're going to do 2 half doubles in the first stitch. All right, so we have 2. And now we're going to do 3 in the next 3. So we're going to do 1, 2, and 3. So 1 half double in the next 3 stitches, and then our increase stitch, 1 and 2. And we're going to just repeat that pattern all the way around. Have 4 at the end. That is okay. If that's how the counts work, it's fine. It is not a big deal at all. Okay, and then we're going to do our slip stitch to join. We just want it to be nice and smooth all the way around. It is going to start to curl and that is perfectly fine. We are going to be working this inside out. So this is going to be your outside, but it's going to start going to the inside. This will be your inside. So this is the right side. Okay. One last increase row. So we're going to put in 2 double crochets, and then we're going to do 4, 1 in the next 4. So there's 1, 2. We're going to move over to the next stitch, 3 and 4. Increase, and then 4, and slip stitch. All right, so our actual pattern. So with this, we're actually building from the top down. I'm just going to do half double crochets all the way around, no more increases. So just a half double crochet in every stitch. This is the first row of our 3-row repeat. Okay, so we got all of our half doubles. We're going to do our slip stitch. All right, so now that we have this, we're going to chain 2 or 3, doesn't matter. You can do singles if you'd like, that's fine. It doesn't really matter. Chain 3, do stacking singles, whatever works for you, whatever you would prefer, and I have videos on both. Now we're gonna, this next row, we're just gonna do double crochets in every stitch all the way around. Okay, now we're gonna slip stitch into the top of that chain 3. Finish that row. All right, that's the second row of the section. So just, know what we're doing here. Now, the next part is we're going to do a back post half double crochet. The reason it's called a back post is because we're pushing the stitches, those double crochets back. All right, and a half double crochet. So we're going to yarn over. We're going to go through the back, in front of the double crochet, out the back, pull through, finish the half double. All right, so a back post, half double. It's called a back post because you are pushing the stitch backwards away from yourself, which creates this lovely little ridge, which I really like. I think it gives some nice texture, makes it a little bit more decorative. We're going to do that around every double crochet, pardon my dog, all the way around. All right, so we are going to go around our chain 3, okay? So we're going to, from the row below, bring that around. That's our last stitch. Now to help this look a little smoother, and I don't know if this is the right way to do it, but this is how I do it, is we're going to go through that back loop and the third loop. So we're going to do a yarn under. That's how we're going to do our slip stitch. It makes it a little smoother right through here. It just keeps it makes it look a tad nicer. Okay, so there is our 3-row. We have a 3-row repeat, okay? So we're just going to do that again. Now that we're here, we're going to do a row of half doubles all the way around, then a row of double crochets, then a row of back post half doubles. So we want to have 3 sections, 3 of these ridges. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we have 3 sections. We just did number 1. We're going to do number 2. We're going to do number 3. After the 3rd row, after we do this one, I will meet you back. All right, after we finish our 3, so you have 1, 2, 3 ridges, we are going to do another row before we start our decreases, we're going to do another row of half doubles all the way around. So now what we're going to do is now we're going to do a decrease. So instead of doing 2 stitches in that first one, we're going to do our, okay, let me go back. We're going to yarn over, go into the first stitch, pull up a loop, 3 loops. We're going to go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, 4 loops. We're just going to go ahead and pull through all of those. So now we've joined these 2 stitches, the first 2 stitches together. Okay, now we're going to do 4, just like we did on when we were increasing. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, so we have our next 4 stitches, and now we're going to do another decrease. So yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through all 4. We now have a decrease there. Now we're going to do the next stitch, half double, next stitch, half double, next stitch, half double. I'm going to do 4 of those in a row. And now we're going to decrease again. Yarn over, pull up a loop, go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, 4 loops, pull through all 4 loops. Okay, now we're going to do our next row of decreases. This time we're going to yarn over, pull through, pull up the next loop. So we're going to start with our decrease. There's our decrease. And now we're just going to do 3. 1, 2, 3, and decrease. Go through 1 loop. Now we're going to go through the next loop, pull up a loop, 4 loops, pull all the way through. And then 1, 2, 3, and decrease. 1, decrease. 1, 2, 3, and a decrease. All right, you can tell it's getting smaller. 1, 2, 3, decrease. 1, 2, 3, decrease. 1, 2, 3, decrease. 1, 2, and whoops, 1, 2, and 3, and it works out perfect. We're going to go in here and we're going to do our slip stitch. Okay, now it is getting pretty narrow, so we still need to do, we have a couple more decreases to do. This is probably a good time to turn your work inside out. Let's flip it. All right, let's roll that, turning it all inside out. Go ahead and go gather your, if you haven't already, and you're gonna push that through. Make sure that all looks pretty good. It's looking pretty good. All right, we're gonna go gather whatever we're gonna use to stuff. And I like to use like the plastic bags from the grocery store. I'm going to use up what I have before I start using polyfill. Colorado doesn't do plastic bags anymore. So go gather your stuffing and I'll meet you back here. All right, now that we have our bags, we're just gonna, oh, maybe not that one. I just have these plastic bags. Now you can use polyfill, you can use other yarn. It doesn't matter. I like using the bags if you have availability of them. Just because these guys are this is gonna be outside. So it just, you know, makes it a little more waterproof. Well, maybe not waterproof isn't the right word. But, okay, so we're gonna fill this to there. We can always add more. Kind of shape it a little bit. All right, now we're gonna do another row of decreases. So we're gonna start off with a half double, pull that loop through, go to the next one, pull that through. So since we just did 3, now we're gonna do the opposite like when we were increasing on the bottom, and now we're only gonna do 2. So 1 and 2. And it is a tad, you know, it's a little harder to do once you fill it, but it's, you know, you'll manage. All right. And 1 and 2. Okay. All right, we're doing pretty good here. We're almost done, guys. We're going to start closing up that hole. So let's do start with our decrease. This one, and then a decrease. Decrease. One half double. And then a decrease. And we'll slip stitch. All right, do a decrease in just all the way around. So we're going to do a decrease. And then we're going to do another decrease. Okay, do one last little slip stitch. And it's not the last one, but okay, so we still have just that little tiny hole. Just a little hole, so we're going to just continue to do another couple of decreases just to close that up. Which I don't think we're going to have very many. Do that one, and it looks like one more. All right, and we have this last little stitch right here. We'll do our slip stitch, and we've closed up our hole. Okay, so this is actually going to be the bottom, and this is the top. So we're going to go ahead, do another stitch, pull that through. Cut our yarn. We're going to use we're going to use our yarn needle, pull that through. We just want to make sure that that top is nice and sealed, so we're just going to go through a couple of times. And then we're just going to go through the top, come through somewhere down here, pull that through, and pull that out. Okay, so now that's hidden. All right, the last thing we need to do is attach our chain to the top. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through one side of our initial circle, grab my yarn, pull that through, and I'm going to use both strands, pull that through to make that attachment. We're going to chain 45. attach that. Back to the middle. Pull that through. There we go. Pull that through. Make our slip stitch. Tighten that. Do our last little stitch. Pull that up. Cut our yarn. We now have our attachment. All right, and now all we need to do is weave in this last end. So really, there's only 2 ends really to weave in. All right, we just want to make sure again that's nice and secure, so we're just going to go through there just a couple of times. Pull that tight. Go through our middle. Pop out down towards the bottom somewhere. Pull that through. And since that did come through, we're just going to trim that off. Pull our yarn a little bit. Stick our plastic back in there, and we're shape it just a little bit. And we're done. There is our smaller wasp decoy. Let me know what you think of this tutorial. Like and follow for more. If you make one, please let me know and let me know what you think. And if you can share a picture, I would love to see it.